So happy together.
Hard to believe this, the Obama-Clinton we saw last night, the two of them looking chummy as ever. But a far cry, as we all know, from the bitter battles of '08. And Andrew, when you look at how they went from there to here, it has been a very long and windy road.
If 2008 was fight night, last night was date night, Rich. The former bitter rivals seemed like old pals just in the last couple of seconds. On CBS's 60 Minutes last night, it was the president's first joint interview with anyone other than his wife. So if this was a tacit 2016 endorsement, where does that leave Joe Biden?
From the moment they sat down to talk with 60 Minutes, President Obama and Secretary Clinton looked like they'd been the best of friends for decades.
I just wanted to have a chance to publicly say thank you, because I think Hillary will go down as one of the finest Secretary of States we've had. I'm going to miss her. Wish she was sticking around. Hillary's been one of the most important advisors that I've had on a whole range of issues.
So how did they heal the wounds from their intense rivalry during that highly contentious 2008 primary fight?
I can't tell who I'm running against sometimes.
Well, we're just getting warmed up. Now, it's ancient history because of the kind of people we all are, but also we're professionals.
The interview left many wondering, was this a possible endorsement of a 2016 presidential run?
I don't think, either he or I can make predictions about what's going to happen tomorrow or the next year.
At least Clinton's health won't be a factor, announcing that she expects to make a full recovery after recently suffering a concussion and a blood clot.
I noticed your glasses are...
Yeah, I have some lingering effects, but, the doctors tell me that will all recede.
And what about the vice president, Joe Biden? He's still playing coy about his plans for 2016.
I haven't made that decision, and I don't have to make that decision for a while.
This is Secretary Clinton's final week on the job, and while she's leaving the spotlight, well, let's debate whether she's going to be leaving politics, Rich, a subject I'm sure we're about to debate starting now.
Yeah, and I saw Dominic laughing throughout the piece here. First of all, our resident Senate.
I'm still laughing.
Yeah. Do you think there was a quid pro quo?
Yes.
That
the deal
for Bill
was,
to help out
yes. The deal, okay, let's take me out of it. Having covered the Clintons for over 20 years, going to Arkansas and seeing their running ground and so on, I know how they operate. Do you think that Bill Clinton jumped out there after Obama handed him his backside during the campaign? Do you think Bill Clinton did that stuff to get him reelected because he had nothing else to do? Or do you think the deal was cut a long time ago? I hate your guts. We don't like each other, Hillary and President Obama. I'm not talking about you. And we don't get along with each other, but we need each other. You was the first black, I'm the first woman. I'll come on and be your Secretary of State. You give me a backhanded endorsement when I'm done. Joe Biden's by the wayside. And that's exactly what happened with 60 Minutes.
Well, I think also it kind of reinforces.
You buy what he's selling?
I do to this extent. The Clintons have kind of become political royalty, the closest we could have in this country. Bill Clinton is so incredibly popular still. It's amazing. So when he goes out and he goes around the country 40 times for the president, not only is that kind of, here's the deal, but it's also political capital. Yeah. And if you're Obama, let's not hit that pinata too hard in terms of what might be inside, because we don't want the bad stuff. Because the Clintons are folks who are very pragmatic and have tremendous inroads into the entire governmental structure. And having them as advocates is a much better situation than having them as adversaries.
Do you think those two, do you think you can forget how bad things were in '08? And you think the two of them are, as they say, they're professionals? They put that all behind her when she just went to state? Or do you think they're sitting down next to each other and be like, all right, in about an hour, I'm going to be rid of you? Or
I don't think you forget about that, but I think Hillary Clinton has shown throughout her life in difficult moments that she looks towards the future and not towards the past. So 2016 could be her time to become the first woman president of the United States. It's a very important time. So if she has to sit with the president, if she has to be Secretary of State, she did what she had to do. Otherwise, she will today be remembered as the one that, lost, as a loser. Now she's remembered as a great Secretary of State. So she did the right thing.
And speaking of loser, I could just imagine somewhere last night Joe Biden was watching saying, he's never done a sit down with me. You know, like, hey, what gives? I mean, remember he was backpedaling, he was doing the 6-shooters at the inauguration. I was waiting for him to do a cartwheel to say that he was young enough.
I mean, let's not overlook the fact that there are other reasons besides 2016 for the alliance of the Clintons and President Obama. It's to continue the legacy of President Clinton. They have similar worldviews. They do seem to have an interest in public service, and with those similar political and worldviews, they're on the same page in terms of advancing the country, reversing some of the things that President Bush put in place. I'm sure there was a deal to send her on her way in the best possible light. But if you think President Obama is going to cut off Vice President Biden and go stumping for Hillary Clinton in 2016?
Are you joking?
No, I'm dead serious. You think a sitting president is actually going to endorse one Democratic candidate over another over his sitting vice president?
The deal's already been cut. Yeah.
There's no way he can.
Let me
There's no way he can until somebody's the nominee.
How much of use is a lame duck president endorsement 4 years out before you get? I mean, if this was,
oh no, we're saying it's fast forward. Now it's 2015, right? And then
well, now
let's say she wants the kid.
Listen, if she shows up on a set with him again in 2015, now the deal's cut.
He's not going to endorse her outright, but he's going to do everything but endorse her. Watch and see. The deal's already cut.
All right, and I have a good piece of news as it relates to the here and now, and a long overdue one at that. This just coming across here. Congress has just passed the $50.5 billion in Superstorm Sandy funding aid bill. We're going obviously follow where this goes, and I'll just throw my 2 cents in. Took way too long, and for anybody who thinks no harm, no foul, you need to go talk to some of the folks there, not just in Long Island and Jersey and Staten Island here. This money, there will be a consequence to be paid for these poor people for this money taking as long as it did to get here. All right. When we head to a break here, when we return, I should say, we will go to Alaska, the Great White North here, for a quick Palin update. Or was that Canada? Spoiler alert here. She's out at Fox News here, and the question is her 15 minutes up here, and what does it also mean for the party here if Fox News basically says that the Tea Party doesn't have a primetime place? We'll be right back with more.